It says, having a reserve currency is great while it lasts because it gives a country exceptional borrowing and spending power, plus significant power over who else in the world gets the money and credit needed to buy and sell internationally. However, having a reserve currency typically sows the seeds of a country ceasing to be a reserve currency country. That's because it allows the country to borrow more than it could otherwise afford to borrow, and the creation of lots of money and credit to service the debt debases the value of the currency and causes the loss of its status as a reserve currency. When countries desperately need reserve currencies to service their reserve currency denominated debts and to buy things from sellers who only accept reserve currencies, they can go bankrupt. You know, this reminds me of that quote, a nation is born stoic but dies Epicurean. You know, and then you hear about, it's kind of the same thing as strong men create good times create weak men create hard times, and it's just a cycle. And this is why, you know, you look at, there's never been a fiat currency that's lasted. You know, they always end up falling because, you know, they start off being backed by gold, some hard asset that never works because you need to be able to extend credit, right, and create money so that you can pay people to build your society. So it's like too much credit is bad, but also not enough credit is way worse, because that, in that case, you have a third world country. But people get greedy. No one's perfect, and they always end up printing way more money than they have backed. People come, they figure it out. It's a run on the banks, and then eventually the country starts to decline. And then also, when you think about how they're printing all this money, and a lot of times it doesn't go into productive means, like maybe people buying like expensive art or luxury items, and they're not putting that money back into the economy. You know, these are all things that make a nation and a currency end up collapsing, essentially. And we're kind of on that path here in America, but it's a little different just because this is the first time that a currency has existed in a digital world like this. So printing money is different when you're just adding numbers to a computer screen. JT, what you think?
Yeah, I'll just add that, you know, he basically described America once again, and the deficit spending will continue to get worse. And, you know, especially if we stay in somewhat restrictive in terms of monetary policy, while not really pumping the brakes that hard on fiscal policy, that just builds the debt bomb that we have. And the larger the debt grows, obviously, the larger the deficit itself. So it's kind of a self-perpetuating problem. And yeah, like you said, that's kind of the path we're on now in terms of losing our reserve status. I don't think that's going to happen in my lifetime. But this trajectory is one in which you could lose your reserve status, probably just simply due to the deficit and deficit spending eventually. Because if not already, as we are speaking, it is the largest, or is going to be the largest expense that we have as a country, literally just servicing our debt in general. So yeah, staying on that path can only be the opposite of fortuitous and be horrible.